and the absolute love of an entire nation create history's greatest monster? Rome, 37 AD. The empire held its breath, waiting for salvation from the nightmare of Tiberius. They never realized they were waiting for their true destruction. This is not a story of a reign. It's a documentation of total mental collapse at the heart of the world's greatest power. We will reveal how a childhood steeped in military betrayal and death forged a man who would wish for Rome's total ruin. This is the true story of Caligula. Prepare yourselves.
He was nicknamed Caligula, Little Boot, from being pampered by the soldiers. He grew up under constant betrayal. His great father, Germanicus, mysteriously murdered. His brothers dead. His mother, Agrippina the Elder, exiled. He was forced to feign loyalty to the reclusive, paranoid Emperor Tiberius on the island of Capri. Caligula was not just a pupil, he was silently observing. This is where the mystery lies. Tiberius himself, Rome's dark master, once said of him, "I am raising a wolf cub for the destruction of the Roman people." How did the boy survive this toxic nest? Through deception. But the cruelty he learned under Tiberius wasn't just a skill, it was a seed planted in the darkness.
When Tiberius died, suddenly and suspiciously, Caligula found himself at the world's peak. All of Rome cheered his name. The love was absolute. The people couldn't believe his initial acts: tax cuts, freeing political prisoners, and destroying the vicious trial records of the past. It was a dream. But this promise did not last. The burden was too heavy for a young man who had only known survival and deceit. In the following months, signs of insomnia and nervous tension began to emerge. The question was, how long could this love withstand the sheer weight of his own dark history? The first 6 months were gold. Then he fell sick, a mysterious illness for a month thought to be epilepsy or acute fever. All of Rome prayed for him. When he returned, he was no longer Gaius. He was something else. Sadistic, paranoid, and vicious. What happened in that dark room? He began to claim divinity. He didn't just want worship, he wanted to embody the gods. He conversed with the statue of Jupiter. He even seriously planned to erect a statue of himself in the main temple in Jerusalem, nearly sparking a massive Jewish revolt. In Rome, he began wielding his power as a god, without limits, without mercy, turning the fate of the world into his personal stage. Logic stopped here. Pure absurdity began. Caligula feared nothing, respected no one. His actions were a mix of pure madness and calculated insult. He declared war on the god Neptune and ordered his soldiers to collect seashells on the shore as war spoils. He ordered a 3-mile pontoon bridge built across the bay to ride his horse across it. He famously appointed his horse, Incitatus, as a consul and gave him a marble stable. Yet this absurdity masked raw violence. He forced families to attend their sons' executions to prove his absolute power. Seneca describes how he forced a father to enjoy a lavish meal right after his son was executed. He famously wished that the Roman people had but one neck, so he could sever it with a single blow. Historians stopped asking if he was mad and began asking, how long will this nightmare last? The danger was universal. There was no escape. This was not a political plot. It was a desperate act of survival. Even his own Praetorian Guard were terrified. Cassius Chaerea, a tribune whom Caligula publicly humiliated by mocking his voice, led the decisive plot. In 41 AD, in a dark, narrow passage under the Palatine, the ambush was sprung after a gladiatorial show. Caligula was unarmed. The attack was swift and brutal, with multiple dagger blows. He did not die from a single strike. He was torn apart by his own closest guards. But the chaos didn't end with his death. The subsequent events, including the accidental elevation of his uncle Claudius, proved that the madness was not just Caligula's, but was systemic to Roman politics and ready to surface at any moment. His story remains the deepest study of the ruinous effects of unchecked, absolute power. Caligula is dead. But the question remains, does history always repeat itself? Share your thoughts and tell us which figure deserves our next brutal expose and deep dive into their mind. Don't miss the next chapter of history. Subscribe now to History Telescope.